Hello, everybody.
We are back from our Thanksgiving Day week little
vacation 2022.
Yes. So we went down to Kentucky. We had other plans. We were going to go to Nashville, see the big mansion there, and then go
Biltmore.
Asheville, not Nashville. Asheville.
But Asheville, North Carolina, or South? It's North.
I think it's North.
No, yeah.
One of the Carolinas, East Carolina, West Carolina, one of them.
Yeah. So we actually started to go to not Charlotte, Charleston. We were going to go to Charleston, and then I changed it to let's just stay a little closer to home. Let's go to Asheville. We're from northern Indiana, so 13-hour drive. Then it became an 8-hour drive. Then it was like, there's 2 distilleries in Kentucky that we haven't seen on the Bourbon Trail because they're kind of out and away from Lexington and Louisville.
Yeah.
So we planned kind of a quick little trip around that. We figured if we go, southeast, and then if we wanted to keep going into Tennessee, because apparently there's a Tennessee whiskey trail, which that could be an issue. We already run out of room for bourbon. But anyway, we started out. We for sure wanted to hit Wilderness Trail, which is in Danville, Kentucky. I think it's 2.5 hours. What do we say? 2.5 hours from Indianapolis. And then we also found Luca Mariano, the new distillery, has a facility there too. So we wanted to go see them.
They have a rick house there.
A rick house there. They're not really up and running yet, but we thought, we didn't really know. We weren't quite sure. Wasn't positive, but we figured, we'll drive by. Anyway, then we wanted to hit Owensboro to go to Green River, formerly known as O.Z. Tyler, which was formerly known as Green River.
Yeah.
So Green River Distilling was the original. Maybe it was the one before that?
I think that was original.
Anyway, we have a couple of separate videos we'll do just for Green River Distillery tour and, Green River Distillery Wilderness Trail. Before we started our trip down to Kentucky, we started in Indianapolis, Westville, Indiana, which is slightly north of Indianapolis, to West Fork Distillery. It makes West Fork. That's Wilderness Trail over here. That makes the Hammer. Makes Old Hammer, Hugh Hammer, and it's West Fork, right? I always want to say Fork West. West Fork. That's why they have WF. West Fork Whiskey Company. So we went there first, and then we finished our last distillery tour with Spirits of French Lick in West Baden Springs, Indiana. So anyway,
which is close to French Lick, but
yeah. So we did at least four distilleries, and then we did several liquor stores. But anyway,
in between, we found them.
Anyway, we found out basically on Thanksgiving Day at our hotel. We really weren't planning on I don't think our expectation was to really find anything really to have dinner at. And we stayed in Elizabethtown, Kentucky on Thanksgiving Day, and we weren't really expecting to actually have dinner anywhere per se. Turns out liquor stores are open all day.
Yeah.
Kentucky,
which is a good thing.
So we that's how we kind of, I guess, monopolized or utilized our day. So, but anyway, so this
is what we came back with.
Vacation 2022. So, blessing and a curse. So, but anyway, so I don't know if we want to just kind of, I don't exactly remember 100% some of the liquor stores that we actually went to. There were many.
But there were a couple big ones, so we remember those.
Yeah, remember those, and just unique. We got some store picks. Store picks are very cool. Yep, which we really didn't start getting into store picks, I don't think, really till last year.
Because we knew that there were tended to be a little bit higher proof, also a little bit higher in price. And if it was kind of the same thing that we could get out of the regular bottle, that's what we drifted towards. But then we kind of found out that the barrel picks are actually pretty good.
A slight top notch more.
And worth the added money. Plus, if you get it at your local liquor store, you develop that repertoire with your local, dealer. So. Yeah,
and I don't know. I think that's the main reason, really. I mean, mostly just to be able to support your local liquor stores.
Yep.
So, speaking of liquor stores, up here in northern Indiana, I swear maybe we have like 10 in our surrounded, what we call Michiana area. it's comprised. Michigan area is comprised of northern Indiana, Mishawaka, South Bend, Niles,
Southern
Michigan, southern Southwest Michigan, Dowagiac, that kind of flavor. But anyway, so but in Elizabethtown, I seemed like it was on every corner. So,
Yep.
But what was interesting, I noticed, and maybe it's just me picking up on it, but every time I went to the liquor store, it had you could point the liquor stores out because they said liquor on a sign. I mean, it was, I don't know, it's the most
prominent part of the name was liquor.
Joe Schmo
in almost
liquor.
every sign. So.
So I thought that was.
So we asked a couple places if that was a requirement that the workers that we asked didn't know, but
no idea. It's gotta be. It
had to be something because it was way too prominent across the board.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll go through these kind of quick, just kind of let you know what kind of different things we got. I mean, obviously, when you see red, we see people know it's Maker's Mark, but we'll kind of tell you a little bit about some of those special picks that we got, and just some bottles we got because they were unique.
Yeah.
But I'll start with these, maybe the three over here on this side per se. Actually, I'll start with we'll start with these. So these four right here are all store picks from different liquor stores, and this one happens to be from John O's Liquors and Party Source. That was, I know, in this was in the downtown area of Elizabethtown, but it's also kind of, like I said, it's a store pick of Remus.
Yep.
What's nice thing about Remus, it was, again, it's I forget what the whole significance is with the stickers behind.
This was a charity event that they had. So this was Shop with a Cop. Mm-hmm. So this bottle was actually priced higher because that added money went to the charity of Shop with a Cop. So anything that they raised went to that charity, and they used those funds to go shopping with kids and let them buy things for their families. Yeah. I think that's where how it worked.
Yep.
But
that proof is 114.2. It's cask strength, and the beauty of that pick is we actually end up getting this cute little guy.
It was a package deal.
Kind of a package deal. So I mean, we really just wanted this little teeny tiny little miniature bottle of Blanton's, but it's like, well, you can get it, but you have to buy this guy too. Which I don't know how I feel about that, other than the fact that we were going to buy this little guy anyway.
Yep.
So if it was $30, we're probably going to buy it. So that completes
so
our
now
collection.
we have the full size. We got
$3.75.
The little bottle, and then we got the micro bottle. Yeah. So our collection is complete now. We can die happy.
Something like that. But yeah. Anyway, but it's never, if you're going to get a bundle and it's a cask strength.
And it goes to charity. Yeah, you're not going to go wrong.
Yeah, for sure. These next two I'm going to show you are from. They're from a liquor barn. I'm not sure what city, but Kentucky City near Owensboro. Both of these, like I said, were store picks. This one is Clyde May, which we really like. It's 102 proof. Let me see. Is it cask strength? 102 proof. No, it's not cask strength, but it is a single barrel. So, what I think about Clyde Mays right now is it seems like you see at various liquor stores when we've been hunting this year, between Clyde May and the Rebel. Is it Rebel?
Oh, yeah.
Is it not Rebel? Yeah, the burgundy one. I'm looking for answers. Anyway.
The new?
No, it's Rebel. But it seems like those two are predominantly have been across in the vast of liquor stores we've been into. And every time we get a Rebel, we really like it. So I'm sure those will be good. The other one, of course, is Maker's Mark. It's another store pick from the same place. And normally, Mike and I aren't huge. I shouldn't say you. I'm not a huge Maker's Mark fan, other than I like the specialty ones. Of course, I had to get this one because it says Chocolate Interruption. That's the name of this one. It's from Liquor Barn, like I said.
And these are the staves.
Yeah, and it tells you the different staves that they put in here. So, as most people know about 1840 or Maker's 46, they are running that through, a second time. With fresh staves, usually French oak, but it doesn't have to be. But this one has different ones. But anyway, I'm just excited because it's chocolate flavor. So we'll see. So that's
actually, that one had a date.
Yep,
yeah, that was May 22.
22, yep. And this last bottle we picked up here at our home store. Are you cheating?
No, I'm just
Yeah.
I thought there was a date on one.
Yeah. This last one is Mike just picked up today, which is at our local liquor store, which is our favorite liquor store. It's Citywide Liquors in Mishawaka, Indiana, and South Bend, Indiana.
Shout out to Errol and the crew there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. This was a Knob Creek barrel pick, or sorry, store pick, and it's 120 proof. Who doesn't love a Knob Creek 9?
That's right.
9-year, 120 proof. So those are all store picks, right there. What do you got over here? Do that whatever, maybe first.
So the first one is when we toured the distillery at Green River. We've got this guy, and it comes open, and you have the Green River. It's actually got in the shape of a horseshoe. And we found out from our tour guide that this little space down here underneath the bottle is perfect size for a quarter to fit under. So they invented a drinking game where you flick quarters at 2 bottles, and whoever gets in, the other drinks. So either way, you can't lose that game. Yeah. So that's the Green River. The interesting thing about the Green River, when we first walked into the event space / gift shop / bar, the first thing we noticed was all of the tables were decorated for a wedding. So they were getting ready for a wedding the next day. And Dawn and I, as wedding photographers, said, hey, this is right up our thing. And it's first thing I thought of was, oh no, I didn't bring any of my gear. It's like waking up in the middle of the night from a nightmare where you show up at a wedding with no equipment. So that was interesting.
It was beautiful. So we'll show a little bit of that on our
we'll have a separate video for that. We did a tour, and we got a bunch of pictures.
Very cool.
Next group is from West Fork, and these are the Old Hammers, and they're all finished. So this one is a straight bourbon whiskey finished in honey barrels, 103 proof, and then the next one is straight bourbon. This is a double oaked, so it's 116 proof. And the next one we got from West Fork is a straight bourbon whiskey finished in Cabernet barrels, and again it's 116 proof.
But why did we get that one?
We got this one because it's purple, which is my favorite color. So we got to try their finished versions. There were a couple finished ones that I didn't like that Dawn did like.
That's why I got the honey.
I think the honey was one of them. The other ones I think we both liked.
And thank God we both like the purple one, because I like Cabernet anyway, so I don't mind a whiskey finished in wine barrels. Yeah. It depends on how strong it is, but normally I don't mind it.
Now this facility, they were just putting their distillery together, so they had their column still in, and some of their fermenters, but they weren't hooked up yet. They were just in the space. And that's
sourced whiskey right there.
Yeah, this is all sourced whiskey. They do make their own, and that's under the, I think, just West Fork label.
Yeah, it will be, because we also have, like, Mike and I have. Well, Mike has a lot of the Old Hammer, and there's a story behind the Old Hammer and the Hugh Hammer name and all that. So again, we'll talk about that in the upcoming video. But again, in Northern Indiana, we're very blessed with being able to have access to Old Hammer.
We get a good
Old
selection.
Hammer and Fork whiskey.
Yep.
Company other bourbons. I don't think we have any of their other stuff.
No, because when we went to the tasting room down in wherever it was, didn't really care for any. I mean, nothing wowed us, so we didn't walk away with any. Yeah. Although they had cute, interesting labels. They were all some history, either automobile, transportation, I think, themed. They were.
No, I don't know. I can't remember, but but it's whiskey versus bourbon, so Anyway.
This one? Okay. Yeah. So the other distillery that we toured was Wilderness Trail, and they've got a lovely cat that you'll see in the separate video. So we picked up this one. This is their 8-year bottle and bond, and
technically all of their whiskey bourbon whiskey they produce is bottled and bond. So that one just happens to be their 8-year.
This one is their 8-year. That's the oldest one that they have for sale.
You can only get it at the gift shop.
Yes.
So, not to panic anybody, but they just got bought out. So they're expecting some serious growth. So
Campari bought them out.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. At that point, they're just going to inject some cash into their business. And I would think, like they do with most of the other acquisitions, just let them run themselves. Just make sure they're well funded and they're doing things correctly and producing good whiskey and bourbon. And just let them go. So
we'll see.
We'll see. They also are a contract distiller, so that may change either more or less. I don't know, but definitely the Wilderness Trail will continue.
All right. All right, let's go back over to this side right here. Maybe this little grouping here.
Yeah.
These 3 bottles, I think we got them at John O's Liquor. So I can tell you what, John O's Liquor Store was huge.
Huge. It was a nice big selection.
Yeah.
Well laid out.
Mm-hmm. And then he has a whole section of John's Liquor.
Oh yeah.
It's not for sale. It's more of a bragging rights, I guess. But anyway, but the prices
were a little
were
corner bar with all his prized possessions, and so it was impressive.
Yeah, and it was very reasonably priced too. So I mean, just like any liquor store, you find something you like, $10, $20 more.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just what you're willing to pay for it. But we're big fans of Nulu. So this is Nulu Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 118 proof. Dun, dun, dun. This is an MGP product. Don't know if Nulu eventually will make their own. Don't know. But we all say in Indiana, a lot of good bourbon in Kentucky gets its start from Indiana. So this is a Nulu. We really like that. We've got actually a Nulu Michigan only version, an Indiana only version. Do we have a Kentucky only version? I don't know.
I don't know if we do, but I'm sure they do.
Anyway, so got that bottle. Of course, 1792. The typical 1792 is a little squatty bottles. This is actually a 1 liter bottle.
We've never seen that before, and we saw it, and we kind of like the design of it, and we do like what's in it. So again, you can't go wrong with it.
Yeah, and again, it's small batch, so I mean it's not this, but the regular small batch is readily available. And again, not knowing where 1792 is headed with continuing their label, I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is a bottle we bought because it was cute.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, and then another bottle we can't get at home is Calumet Farm. It's a 10-year Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. It's 100 proof. Okay, we have Calumet 14 and 15 already in our collection.
And 16.
And then an 8. It's a red one.
And an 8, yeah.
And an 8, yeah. Oh, we have a 14. Anyway, once you get in the game, you got to have all the numbers, right? So this blue one, we thought we don't have that one, so we must get it. So that's what happened. We'll see. But yeah, I think again a 10-year we find.
Oh no, Sam Houston 16. I think.
Oh okay, yeah, well that too. All right, so again going back to this Calumet 10-year. 10 years what our palate seems to gravitate towards, and we kind of seem to like 10 years.
Yeah, it seems to be our sweet spot for bourbons, and for us, it's the balance between the oak and the sweetness, and so anytime we see anything that's 10-year, we tend to get it, and we tend to like it.
Yeah.
All right, so the next one we picked up again. We mentioned that we like 10-year bourbon, so this is a Basil Hayden 10-year, and we hadn't seen this anywhere else, especially up here in Indiana. So when we saw it down there, we saw it a couple times, and we're not real big on the Basil Hayden family of products.
Neat.
Right. Not neat.
We don't
anyway.
like it neat, yeah.
Especially coming in at 80 proof, I think it's the price point at 80 proof is a little high, but we do try each one. So we've got one of all of their labels. So this one is their 10-year. And we will see how it tastes.
Yeah.
Another one we've picked up, and which we used to see these in around our area a lot when we first started drinking and bourbon hunting, and now we don't see it hardly at all. So when we walked into the first liquor store and they had one, I just grabbed it. This is a Booker's, and it is a Kentucky tea batch. This is the 3rd release of this year, 2022. And it's 126.5 proof.
It's typical Booker's. Yep. So both of these Jim Beam products.
Yep.
Always Basil Hayden. You can't resist the belt, number one. And you can't resist the box.
That's right.
So, and again, I'd say this is fair price. I mean,
yeah, we got it for a decent price for what we expected.
Yep.
So the next one that we picked up is a Maker's Mark. I don't know if we got it at the same place as that one.
No, we didn't. And the reason why I have these two together is because we got them at the same liquor store.
Yeah.
And they were hidden. You can maybe.
Oh yeah, they were hidden. They were.
Sorry.
So there were two of these sitting next to each other on the shelf. And I said, well, just show me those Maker's Marks, see what they are, because our neighbors from Two Bourbon Crew, the Bourbon Crew. So our neighbors from the Bourbon Crew,
CRUE,
we had let them try one of our FAO1 releases, which is last year or the year before.
That was 2021,
yeah,
I believe.
And she really, really liked it. But the chances of finding that were slim to none because it's a yearly release and it's been a couple years. So it literally, for them or us to find it was going to be a Dusty. Well, sure enough, when he pulled this out and handed it was FAO1. So we obviously got that one for them. Mm-hmm. They paid us back, by the way, but we're not that charitable. But this one is a 2020 limited release. The stave profile on this is SE4 times PR5, which I don't know exactly what that nomenclature means. But this one is a combination of virgin toasted American oak along with French oak staves.
Yeah, which what the guy told us, I'm going to have to do some research on this. One of the, I don't know if he's owner or whatever, between the FAE 0102 and the BRT 0102, this is kind of a mix between those. I mean, not because you have a 2020, which is this one, 2021 FAE 0102, and then the BRT 0102, so 21 and 22. Somehow they kind of blended them, and then the next year they split them up. We'll find out if that holds true. Yeah. But we picked this up because as we're going through the dusty bottles, we're like, okay, let's see what the rest of those are. Because we thought if we find two FAE01s, we'll grab them for her.
Yep.
But when we saw the 2020, we're like, I don't care what it tastes like, we're getting it. So.
And we did find two for her.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Yeah. I mean, and not even crazy prices too. So that was awesome.
I think she still owes us half or a quarter of one of those just for finder's fees.
Or maybe she's got to give us a couple sips of hers.
So I'm not a quarter of it. We have to go over and say, can we borrow a cup of bourbon?
FAE01.
So the next bottle we got is John J. Bowman. And this is a single barrel, straight bourbon whiskey. And this bottle's been on my list for a while to find. And then when we found it,
Same place.
Originally, I wasn't going to grab it because I thought we had tried it and didn't like it. But then my neighbor said, no, that you didn't try that one. You tried
Bowman Brothers.
Brothers. And it's like, oh. So we ended up getting this. Mm-hmm. And we had some the other night, and it was quite good.
Yeah.
Yummy.
Yeah. Like I said, it was on your list for a while, and it's just, I mean, so far the three they have Bowman Brothers, Isaac Bowman, and John J. Bowman. Yeah. I don't know if they have any more else, but this is a Virginia bourbon, and we were like, not sure we'll be able to get it because, I mean, it's Northern Indiana and in Kentucky, so who's going to Virginia for that?
Yeah, really.
But again, it was practically right next to these guys.
Yeah. So he said,
tucked away.
Yeah, those two.
We're like, yeah. So anyway, that's why I kind of put those together. But so anyway.
All right, the last distillery we went to was French Lick and Spirits of French Lick. I'm sorry, in West Baden. West Baden is a town that was basically famous for its hot springs a long time ago, and there's a winery there that started and producing wine, and then they wanted to get into the whiskey, so they hired Alan Shepard,
who used to work for
not Shepard, Alan Bishop.
Alan Bishop. Who's Alan Shepard?
I don't know. I think it's astronaut.
Astronaut. Yeah.
So Alan Bishop.
Yeah.
And he's done a great job with and their motto is respect the grain. So he's all about the history of distilling, history of the people, which I'll get to in a minute, history of the region and area. So he originally wanted to do just apple brandy because that area was very, very much known for its apple brandy. So much so that it was more sought after than the brandy in Europe in some aspects. But after Prohibition, or during Prohibition, all the farmers that grew a special type of apple, chopped all those trees down because they weren't good eating apples. They were really good for making brandy, but not for eating. So a lot of that heritage apple variety has vanished. So he said he could still find some apple wild growing, and he's gotten some local farmers to actually plant that variety again. So this we've picked up an apple brand.
The first one, I guess, going back to without going into a whole history of spirits, because we're going to do a video on that later, but that's the one that was kind of like I would say the flagship of spirits of French Lake.
This one's called Old Clifty.
Yep.
Hoosier apple brandy. Now the term Hoosier apple brandy is becoming a
kind of like Tennessee whiskey,
a specific thing to Indiana. So a lot of the other brandy manufacturers in the state are using that to kind of set themselves apart from everyone else. But we tried this one. This one's good. This one actually won the American Spirits Award in 2022. Yeah. So the next one is the apple brandy, but it's finished in a tequila barrel that itself was finished in a bourbon barrel. This one finishes, the finish is very much reminiscent to a tequila, but the very front of it, the front of the palate is very sweet, very smooth. So we picked that up. It's
called Complexity.
Yeah.
Is it on? I can't see.
Okay. All right, so the next one is Solomon Scott, which is their rye whiskey. And we don't normally like ryes, but we actually like their ryes. But this completed our set. We have all of their other whiskeys. We didn't have the rye, so when we saw that there, obviously we picked that one up. And then the last one we got is the Matty Gladden, which is a straight bourbon whiskey. This one's their barrel proof at 105, and this one's aged 4.5 years. And this one, we found out that all of the single barrels are actually bottled specifically by Alan Bishop. So that's kind of a nice thing to know.
Yeah, a little special touch.
Yeah, but getting back to the names that I mentioned before, all of the whiskeys have a name of an actual person that lived in history of the area. So again, respect the grain and respect history.
Yeah. So we'll you'll see, or I should not see. Yep. Yeah, you'll see, and you will hear more about the history of the names behind the whiskey, the brandy, all those kinds of things, and then the spirits of French Lake video we're going to put together.
Yep.
So, all right. So next, on to this little grouping of bottles that we bought. One of the first ones, in no particular order, Mike found a Russell's Reserve single barrel, which he's a huge fan of, but we can't get it here. Well, we can't get it here regularly for fair, I don't say fair price, but
for list price.
List price. But it is hard to find. We love the Russell's Reserve brand, so we buy that when we can get it.
Yep. We walked into I had it on this one on the shelf next to the other ones, and I grabbed it and I looked at the price. I'm going, that can't be this, and sure enough it was. So we grabbed it.
Yay for us. Yep. Next bottle up, Penelope. We just started drinking Penelope as a result of our trip we took to Louisville and went to the Justin's House of Bourbon. Yep. Had to take. Actually, I don't even know if we actually even had a sample of it until we bought it. So again, with our neighbors, we had a trip, and they bought a toasted barrel Penelope, and I bought the other. I think it's just a small batch. We both really liked it, so we found Penelope. Architect. I think we tried. I don't know if we tried theirs. I can't remember. We're gonna have to keep track of this. But anyway, we found an Architect, which is Architect number 3. Number 3. So we went ahead and bought that. And again, it was a really good price. By the way, Penelope's, I believe, are an MGP product as well. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is. So, again, nothing against our MGP in Indiana, because what do we usually say? What do we usually say?
Vodka sucks.
Well, we say that. But what we normally say is a lot of good Kentucky bourbon starts in Indiana. So.
That's right.
Yeah, like Angel's Envy started, in Indiana, until these distilleries have a chance to, get up and running and do their own thing.
Which is kind of what West Fork's doing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, when you become a bourbon connoisseur or fan or snob, whatever you want to call it, you learn the same things that we talk about as well. So, anyway, of course, another bottle. Whenever we find this bottle, we almost always buy at least one. It's Early Times Bottled in Bond. We love this.
Yeah, it's got a sweet profile, which is my profile. The price is right at $25, $26 for a liter. We can't find it here locally. Normally when we do find it out, they'll have boxes of it. So it just hit and miss, but we definitely like it.
So tempting to buy a case.
Yes.
But a case is 12, so we're out. Yeah. Anyway, and then one of the bottles we kept seeing in the liquor stores was called T2XO. It's a beautiful bottle. It's kind of a goldish rose gold.
Kind of like a phoenix.
Yeah, and it has a phoenix on the front. It is called 2XO. I think I just said that.
Yeah.
But it's by a blender named Dixon Deadman.
Deadman.
Yeah. Is it the other way around? I can't read it. My
Dixon Deadman.
Dixon Deadman.
Yeah.
See how much we know about the guy? But apparently
I'm trying to read it backwards, and I'm reading it backwards.
Anyway, it is Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 104.
It's also right there.
104 proof. Oh.
In bigger letters.
2XO means 2 times oak. But let me tell you, that we tried that when we got home with our friends, and oh my gosh, it is good. It is so good.
It's got a different taste profile than most. So
for sure. So I think if we find another bottle, because God knows if Fred Minnick gets his hand on a review,
no kidding.
I'm sure he probably already has or whatever. It'll be off the shelves and unavailable. It's like the Oprah effect with Fred Minnick and bourbon. So
yeah.
Anyway, can't blame him. He picks good stuff.
All right, moving on. So we have a 10-year Basil Hayden. Remember, 10 years tends to be our sweet spot for bourbon. So this is an 80 proof 10-year by Basil Hayden, and we don't normally go after the Basil Haydens, but we do have one of every label, so we picked up this when we saw it. The next one we acquired is a Booker's, and this is the third release of 2022, and it is the Kentucky Tea Batch, and it comes in at 126.5 proof. And
typical Booker's proof.
Yeah, we used to be able to find Booker's in our area frequently, and now we can't find them at all. So when we do find them someplace else, we grab them. So I think most of all of the latest ones we have are all from Kentucky.
Yep, both Jim Beam products. Of course, we buy. Yeah, we almost always buy the Basil Hayden. Actually, we buy all the Basil Hayden versions. We're not huge into subtle smoke type of flavors, but they have another subtle smoke which is obviously not in this collection right here, but we do have it, and you can't resist the cute little belt of Basil Hayden.
Yeah.
It's adorable. Although we did pick up a recent Basil Hayden. It was the one in red wine cask. It is very
that
good.
One is very good.
Yeah, it's very good and neat.
That one I would go after and get.
And we typically don't drink Basil Hayden neat, but we usually mix it, or we're usually mixing again Booker's. Again, cute, pretty box. So you can't resist Jim Beam.
Yep. And on to the next pretty box.
This pretty box. Which
is our last one that we'll show you tonight is Angel Envy Cask Strength.
With a K.
This is the 2022 edition. So it comes in a nice decorative and heavy wooden box that has magnets holding the front on. And tell them about the front.
Yep.
While I get this ready.
Yeah, so I guess it's our first Angel's Envy box edition, which is really pretty. And when I don't know if you want to, you can hang this They have a cute little hangy thing.
Yeah.
So you can just hang it
So
on
it's
your wall
decorative.
if you want. I don't know. It's kinda
So this is their yearly cask strength. This one comes in at 119.8 proof. And this is their straight bourbon finished in port wine barrels.
which is always, I mean, not for always, but is now always what.
Which is
gonna be-
their normal profile.
Yeah.
Which I like. Dawn's
Yeah.
not a big fan of them, but I like them. So
Because I'm not a huge fan of port, so
Yeah.
it's too sweet. But I haven't revisited Angel's Envy in a while, and what this year has really taught us is, well, you really do need to keep revisiting your collection. And we now call it a collection because it's gotten so vast.
So the story behind this was when we first walked into this one liquor store, a gentleman was clutching this and walking out the door, and I went, "Oh, they've got that." So I had looked on the table of all of the remaining items, which is actually where we got this Booker's. They had this Booker's, but no more of this. So you know, we went on. Again, we purchased this, went on, and then we told our neighbors that they had, because there was another Booker's back in the cabinet I saw. I said, well, they've got another one, so he said, well, get it for him. So we went back, got it, and on the table was another one of these.
Like a couple hours later, maybe.
So
was
I
it? Yeah.
so I went and asked. I said, well, how much is that? So they told me, and I'm going, dang, that's a good price. But you know, we left, and then the more we thought about it, it's like, well, let's go back in the morning. We went back to the hotel. We said, we'll go back in the morning. If they have it, we'll get it.
Yep.
So we walked in, and sure enough, they had it. So I
Yep.
grabbed it, and it was at list price, which is a rarity. We saw this later at a number of liquor stores for at least double the price that we
Yeah.
paid. So we
Yeah.
felt happy with that purchase.
Yep. And another thing for us with these kinds of special finds, Mike and I do open them and share them with our friends, a little bit more experienced bourbon friends. I mean, not that we don't share them with our friends who are just getting into bourbon, but usually when we have these special editions, usually tend to be a little more higher proof.
Yeah, they're usually higher proof. So we try to start our beginning friends off with something like in the 80 proof
Yeah.
category, just to
Yeah.
not overwhelm them. So we're not going to start them off with a cask strength of anything.
Yeah.
You know, nothing around 120 proof.
Yeah.
It's just overpowering them. So we want to start them ease them into the bourbon world with something that's approachable and also something that they can buy.
Yeah,
I mean, if we
that's
give
the
them
part.
these two and they love them, they'll never be able to find
Yeah.
it again. And you know,
Exactly.
we've treated them for an evening, but not a lifetime.
Yeah.
So we try to get them, hooked on things that they can readily acquire and drink and enjoy, and then we spoil them later when their
Yeah.
palate's a little bit higher. That's how our neighbors started, and now they're bourbon aficionados as well. So
Yeah, for sure. So anyway, it's been fun. This is our vacation 2022.
yep,
So instead of putting money in a hotel, apparently we put money in our bourbon. So
yep. But we will enjoy all this.
yeah, we'll enjoy it. Again, it'll be fun to review. It's fun to taste. It's fun to compare.
Yeah, you'll
fun to
see
do
reviews
blinds.
coming
Yep.
on all of these.
Yeah.
So anyway, like, subscribe, and share. And if you've had any of these, definitely tell us what you think in the comments. If we got a detail wrong, tell us in the comments. We enjoy reading the comments most of the time. So anyway, till next time, we're out.
Ciao, Bella.
And
Cut.
cut. Oh. Yes, because they don't get all over me. All right.
Like this for a thumbnail?
Yeah.
Do the melody. Do that again. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Good. All right.